garage on Saturday to see my brother, and he hugged me, and I thought I was hallucinating.
I got offered the job to come back on 909, but I had the shits. And
girls, little Japanese girls, little helpers, who pull your leathers off, and the fork seals had gone. And then
fucking hell, good.
Sneaking in his motorhome, having his shit in his toilet and not flushing chairs.
Before I even rode a bike, I thought I'd be world champion.
We'll just glide, absolutely start. Once I get you up there, I'm gonna ride such a groovy day. Just say the word, we don't merge that too.
Carl the King Fogarty and Troy Bayliss. Breathing in all the way through that. Troy, I should have said Carl's MBE, massive bell end.
That's not what I do until they try and punch you.
Yeah, no, just get that in. We're not humming, aren't we? Can we de-hum it?
De-hum you, you bomber, get out of it.
Where's me beer?
You've had too many. We all alright?
Welcome to Bolton, everyone. Karen, thanks for making the journey down.
It took the whole 25 minutes to get in.
We're not good together, and as you can see, the microphone's...
You're a good DJ, Carl.
Troy, thanks for making the effort to come over here.
It's great to be here, guys, and lovely to see you guys as well. It's been a little while since I've been in the UK, but it's definitely nice to be back. I said to the guys, it was good to put some clothes on. We've had a pretty long, hot summer, and I'm guessing you guys are looking forward to hopefully having one. Yeah, but actually, I do like this weather. It's nice. It's really good. But I know you are over it and ready for one. So yeah, I hope you get some sun.
Me too.
I think we're in for a great night. I think sitting here beside two, not just winning the World Superbike Championship, but winning it multiple times for both of them. Carl Lim with his Isle of Man TT achievements, Northwest 200, Mackay GP. I think I'm a celebrity coming out of here.
That's the coolest title I've ever had today.
Troy, in 1999, he won the British Superbike Championship, as it is now, and success in America as well. So to be up here along with you two guys and put this show on tonight, I think you're all in for a treat. We're going to start off quite a simple one. You'll laugh because Carl's actually wrote down all the questions. I says tonight could be good. He says, well, it's down to you. You're asking the questions. You handed me the questions. So it is his writing. We'll start off going whatever order you want. How did you get into racing, and at what point did you realise, not just into racing, that this could be your job, this could be a big success?
I got into it as a kid. I mean, my dad used to race motorbikes, so I was brought up around motorbikes. All my childhood memories of being at sort of races, at weekends, sleeping in the van and the caravan when you got a few more quid more. And then going TT, getting 2 weeks off school, which is great. I fucking hated school. So I was brought up around bikes, and I think whatever you get brought up around as a kid, chances are you're going to want to do that as a hobby or as it turned out to be a profession. And yeah, so I was brought up with bikes when my dad raced, and that's what got me into it really. Before I even rode a bike, I thought I'd be world champion. I told anybody who would listen to me when I was like 12, 13, I'm going to race bikes and become world champion. I don't know if I believed it myself or just said it, but I think I actually believed it myself at 13, 14 years old. I was at school and headmaster or whatever school she was, shake her head was. And yeah, I just had a few setbacks along the way, a few broken legs, which set me back for a year or two. I had 2 years in the wilderness with bad injuries to my leg when I was like 21, so 22. Kind of got over them and then went to the bigger bikes, on super bikes. Just been cut off. That boring, man. Cheers. And then, yeah, when I got on the super bike, I just took to it like a duck to water. It was nice to be comfortable on the bike again after a couple of years on the 250 where I was really struggling with it, my injuries to my leg, trying to get comfortable again.
My mum and dad were away for the weekend. When they came home, lifted up the garage door, they seen the bike there, and that was it. I was kicked out of home, and which was strange because they're the ones that started me on bikes anyway. So boom, I was going out with Kim already. I just started my apprenticeship, or halfway through my apprenticeship in painting. Kim was working in a jewellery store, so I moved out and went and moved in with my now wife Kim, with her family. And basically it was Kim, myself and her dad, and he had a Nissan Urban, which was a heap of shit. And that bike, we went to the first race and that was it. I mean, I had that bike for about 3 months and I realised that I was either going to get locked up or have an accident. So we decided to go to the track, and that's basically how it started. Yeah. But in that first 3 months when I had that bike, I'd never been to a motorcycle race. And we went to, it was the last GP race at Eastern Creek, and I was just one of the lads there on the bikes camping and watching a race. And just because I'd done flat track and motocross and was quite good at it, I just looked at them and went, you know, I think I could do that. And then that's where the passion to actually start road racing came from.
Listening to you as well, so your dad kicked you out of the house and your mum for buying a bike, so I'm assuming unlike Carl, whose dad raced a TT, my dad, who was also a road racer.
It was heavy rain at the start, so up the back there the whole way to Korean, round the roundabout, down through Mathers. So that there I was taking no chances, and it started drying up there, so I started letting it go.
By lap 4, Dunlop was well in front. But the battle was hotting up behind him, where Irwin was now second, with Miller in his slipstream. At the end of lap 5, Dunlop was still in command. And Irwin was winning the dice with Miller for second place. Great racing with no quarter asked or given.
Motocross or anything?
No, basically I grew up on a small sort of grain farm, you could say, and just like a lot of kids that sort of grew up on land, I just started on my little Honda Z50, and then you know, it was just every day you could ride a little farm bike or whatever you had. So, and then my dad was the one that sort of put me into junior motocross, and I certainly didn't want to do it, but then it's too late. Then after a few years, you know, it's built into you. And so I don't think I got kicked out because I think he was just worried about my safety and probably just wasting money, maybe. I don't know. I never asked him, to tell you the truth. But we've all been there, and like you say, you spend everything you've got to make it happen. And honestly, there's so many times, and I'm sure you guys have had the same feeling, where you basically nearly give up before you even get there. And you just go, I went through a stage where I was just breaking wrists in the Australian Championship, and I just thought I was finished and done, but I think it'd be impossible to break one.
You're finished and done now.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, I think the same. When I led down hospital with these pins sticking out, I could think, what am I doing this for? You know? And then as soon as the pain goes away and the pins are out, you just can't wait to get back on the bike again and go and try and win that next race.
What did it feel when you won your first World Superbike Championship? And Troy, I want you to tell everyone who perhaps doesn't know how the opportunity came for you to come about from America.
Because I made as well.
Well, it wasn't your fault in the end. You were unlucky in the end, quite far out. I had my time here in Britain 2 years, and it was a great time. It's another very long story, and I'm glad we've got fucking hours to talk about it. I felt like I did my hard yards, and I learned a lot here. Especially I learned how to ride in the rain as well. That's for sure. I was riding for GC at the time. I was always hoping that I was going to make it in the World Superbike, but I thought I was going to have to do a few more hard yards yet. I wasn't expecting like this scenario to happen. So of course it was terrible for Carl. but he's had a great time along the way. He won a lot of championships, won the most championships for Ducati, the most races, and it was definitely, I don't know how much longer he could have gone for, but it was definitely starting to go into the twilight of your career, you could say.
10 years ago at least, I probably 10 months, I think. Another year or two, that was about it. If I'd not got injured, I was even then at that point, I was getting a bit sick of the travelling and the pressures I was under from the media and from the fans and even myself. I was like, oh, one more year maybe. I might even have retired end of 2000, I don't know. But probably would have, I think I would have won the championship in 2000 to be fair, because the Honda wasn't that good. And that, I probably would have raced in 01, and then I think that would have been it. So maybe robbed me of 2 years more, I think, the accident, I guess. Yeah.
Would you beat Troy if you continued racing?
Yeah, obviously. He's going to say yeah. He's going to say yeah, because he believes in himself so much. That's not standard. Honestly, he went out, and you know that you rode for a great crew, a great team, and when I come on board, of course, it's going to take a little while and you know, I didn't walk in there and feel comfortable straight away, that's for sure. It took a long while for that to happen, and quite a while to get to know the guys and understand them, but once I did and understood how good the guys were, and I'm sure you had such a great time with them along the way, and I got to experience that as well. Some funny buggers, that's for sure. But of course the boss, Tardozzi, as much as we love him, he was a hard ass. And I think David won the first superbike race here, I think it was in Donington, I don't know.
It was 88 in the wet, I think it was, yeah.
Each race 30 laps, 1.96 miles the circuit. They're off for the first ever World Superbike Championship race, and Roger Burnett left slightly behind, and taking the lead there is Fabrizio Pirovano on the inside. Burnett just shaded by Fred Merkel, who takes second place, I think, but it's Fabrizio Pirovano from Italy, the 1987 Italian Superbike champion in the lead. But here comes Tardozzi.
Tardozzi just taking over the lead there and braking hard for the chicane now. This is always a tricky spot. I think it's worth pointing out at this stage that when they wrote the rules for Superbike, they were designed to create close racing, and it's working out perfectly at this stage.
Coming up to Coppice for the very last time, and Lucanelli has not made any inroads into Tardozzi's lead. Tardozzi just about a second in front of Lucanelli, with Joey Dunlop third.
An Ironman TT racer, Tardozzi was one.
He did the CT?
Yeah.
Did he? Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was a hard ass, and anyway, he's still going now, as you well know, and still kicking goals and going through riders, but yeah, he still says hello to us.
So your first World Superbike title, Carl, how did it feel? How did it come about?
Relief. Well, relief and emotion was the two words I would use. I should have won it in '93. I won 12 races, I think. Scott Russell's 4, but my first year as a factory Ducati rider, and I just crashed out of races while leading. Leading at Brands, I crashed. Leading at Donington, I crashed. Leading in Japan, I crashed. Leading in Portugal, I crashed, and I just cost me the championship, really. So at the start of the '94 season, I was like the favourite to win the championship, even though we had a brand new bike, and that the media made me sort of favourite and whatnot. And I won the first race of the year at Donington, which was more of a surprise to me than anybody else. I mean, nobody thought it was a surprise, except I did, because I didn't really like the bike at the first. At 916, I felt it twitchy, and I couldn't carry the corner speed that I could like with the 888. And then the second round, I crashed in Hockenheim in practice and broke my left wrist, and had to miss the Hockenheim races, because obviously I broke my wrist in the practice on the Saturday morning. Then I raced a cast about 2 weeks later in Misano. I couldn't use a clutch properly because of my wrist, and I broke the gearbox with a few laps to go out, running 5th place with a broken wrist. I finished 5th in the second race, and I was so far behind the championship at that point then, and Russell kept winning all the races. And I thought it was over. Then I put in a run then of winning double races and doubles, and there's all sorts going on that year. I was moving house, had a new baby on the way, we had issues mid-season with reliability problems, and it kind of all came down to the last round of the year, the other side of the world, obviously Australia, and I knew what I had to do, and it was just under so much pressure to do, because I thought, I don't want to come this close like I did last year. I should have won it last year. And after come this close and to lose it again, I just won't be able to take it, to be honest. And I had a 5-point lead, and I won the first race, and that pretty much put one hand on the trophy, to be fair. And then the second race, I was just following Russell round, stuck behind him. Anthony Gilbert, he won the race. He cleaned off and won the race. It was his first time like Kawasaki. He was probably the youngest ever winner at the time. Maybe that's another story over Anthony about his talent and stuff. And I just sat behind Scott, just running the laps down. About 2 laps ago, he just signalled like, "F*** it, it's yours," sort of thing. If he'd have had a towel, he'd have thrown it in. And I just thought, well, what's he doing? You know, I kind of went past him and I thought, is he going to try and knock me off or something? Because he won the world championship, he does. And I think he pulled in and changed the tyre, though, which is stupid. Only 2 laps to go. I mean, if I'd have broken down, he'd have won the world championship. But I came around and saw the checkered flag, and I just collapsed over the bike. I'm just bawling my eyes out. I've got goosebumps now thinking about it. I'm just so emotional and so relieved that I'd finally achieved my dream of winning that World Superbike title, having come so close the year before and gone through the year I'd gone in, coming back from a broken wrist and other issues and whatnot. And first thing I came in, I was like filled up with my helmet and everything. I was trying to find Michaela and pushing Barry Sheen out of the way because he wanted to interview me. So I embraced Michaela because she'd been through the journey with me since before I started racing, even, to be honest. And we just both hugged each other and just crying our eyes out. It was so emotional. It was really emotional. Just the relief and emotion more than anything for winning that first World Championship. It was very special.
And you, Troy?
Well, yeah, it was 2001, so yeah, nice, really good. So I joined when had his accident, so it was like a third of the way through the year. So a lot of the tracks were new to me, and basically it was, I didn't know at first that I was actually going to be stuck on that bike for a while, because in Sugo the first time I rode it, I didn't do very well at all. And then,
it's funny, Carl, when you were at the toilet, Carl said he didn't do very good the first time he rode it.
Yeah, Sugo's a funny old track though, especially for Michelin tyres. It's a difficult place, to be honest. It's a miss with me, really, Sugo.
Yeah,
did you feel pressure, Troy, when you were given the opportunity?
No, the problem was like I didn't have time to get anything ready, and I had to get in the car's leathers. It's a little bit smaller than me. Not much.
Bigger down there.
I was going to say they're a bit tight there, but I left that. But yeah, actually Sugo was a disaster. I didn't finish one of the races. The first one I was just involved in a pile-up on the first corner, and about 5 or 6 guys went down. And the second one, there was a guy by the name of Tomato. I think you might know his brother's ham and cheese and tomato. No, but anyway. I think 2002 though, I probably did believe in myself, I guess you could say. Rode the best I ever had, but I still lost the championship. But I came very close, and even though I lost the championship on the day, probably had one of the best rides that I ever did, but it just didn't quite work out. So it's funny to win one, to lose one, and then win again. You just take them, come and go. I mean, when you win the championship, it's like icing on the cake. But sometimes a race win was sometimes a better feeling. So, I just used to like winning races, and the championships were like a bonus, I guess you could say.
I'm looking forward to experiencing the championship feeling myself.
You're up at this year. It was very close last year.
Yeah, it was. It was good fun. Like you say, it was funny again. Listen to you. 2002, you believed in yourself. You had one of your best years, but you didn't win the championship. My year last year was so similar. We won more races than anyone in BSB. We led more laps. We had more podiums. I finally believed in myself again. Similar thing, like you believe in yourself, but then when you really believe in yourself. Had the right package, the right team. I thought it came together, but it was like a great train robbery. It just didn't quite happen in the end. But it is what it is. We could sit in timeline these guys' careers all evening, but we would be here till tomorrow, and Carl doesn't like working overtime.
Not true.
So there's not a lot of work in them these days. But so we'll bounce about a bit. I'll ask you, any point during your career, looking back, any decisions you regret that you've maybe changed and it could have panned out different?
Yeah, for me. Leaving Ducati,
leaving a winning team and going to Honda. That was up there.
Well, I did the same. And
what were the reasons?
I fucked up too.
Guess what? I just saw pound signs, I think, and the free Honda Prelude. And a free motocross bike, and fucking, I don't know, but it was a strange year because even at the start of the year, I thought to myself, I'm not going to win this year, and I was almost happy with that. And I look back now and think, why was I like that? Why did I lost that motivation, that killer instinct, that aggression, to determination to win? But the bike, and being at Honda, it just wasn't like my family. It wasn't like my bike and my team. It was like I was just one of a number of Hondas of just, you know, the MotoGP and the Ducati Tower race, all that kind of stuff. And I never felt at home there. The bike just didn't quite suit my style of riding. I could win at Assen 2 races at Assen, no problem. Then go to the circuit I really liked and be like 5th or 8th. I just couldn't find the consistency with the bike, and maybe a lot of it down to me not working hard enough in qualifying. I don't know, but I even went down to the last round in Australia with a mathematical chance of still winning the World Championship. So it wasn't that bad a year. It was 4 of us went down to the last round, and I came out 4th of the 4. But yeah, I should never broke up a winning team. I would have won it in '96 for sure. There's no question of that. Troy Corsa won it in '96, but he wasn't in the same class as me, to be fair. I don't think he was. He's a good lad, I love him that. But
I partied with you and you're quite good, but I think he's even better, isn't he?
He could party like, yeah, for sure. Yeah, what a night out with Troy.
Not me, Corsa.
But yeah, it was my regret really. Just, and then when I went back to Ducati, things had changed.
Did you go back with your tail between your legs, or how did it come going back?
Well, Ducati had a bit of a nightmare with John Kaczynski, who rode for them. I can see why he was had a few issues in his head to John. And they wanted
Colin has a distinct hate for Americans, so apologies if there's any in the room.
I don't mind Americans, they just don't like me for some reason. That's another story. We've got time for that, maybe tell it later. But I think Virginia wanted me back, he wanted me back, and I wanted to come back. I'm like, yeah, please take me back. And this nightmare, and I thought I'd win the championship in '97. The bike had changed, it almost felt like the Honda, it felt aggressive. I was struggling mid-corner to get off the bike and carry corner speed like that 95 bike. I couldn't figure out why, I could never really understand why I was struggling with it. I led the championship for most of the year. I kept complaining about the bike all the time, but it was really aggressive on the throttle and kept sending me wide in the mid-corner and stuff. And I'm pushing and I ended up crashing again 3 or 4 times out of winning positions, leading races at Brands, at Albacete, Japan, and yeah, I lost the championship by a few points to my good American friend Mr. Kaczynski, who swapped bikes with me, gone to the Honda, and the Honda pretty much saved, well, not say saved his career, but the wet races we had that year, he was really good in the wet. He was phenomenal in the wet, to be fair, and he cleared off and won all the races in the wet earlier in the year, and that's what kind of helped him get his head around the back. Because in the dry races at the beginning of the year, it was nowhere. It was like 5th, 6th, 7th, and that sort of place. You know, the bike was difficult to ride, and but yeah, it was a difficult time for me. But going back to Ducati, it took me 2 years to get it back right again, to win the World Championship again, really. And then we were away, we won it again and again.
Troy, any regrets similar to Colin?
Same thing, riding a Honda.
Yeah, exactly.
And what was it the same? Like again, was it pound signs, hence the move?
No, I mean, basically, the whole plan was to win the championship 2001, win it again in 2002, pack up and go home. That was the plan. But then along came Ducati with the GP project, and it's pretty hard to turn down like that. So I started that project with Loris. Basically, Loris did, in general, was doing better than me. He won 1 race in 2003, I think it was, in Japan. And I had a couple of podiums, but he was doing a bit better. And by 2004, someone had to go. It was going to be the Aussie. And so, of course, that I got offered the job to come back on the 999, but I had the shits. And said, yeah, you know, what do you do? And went up to Camel Honda, and as much as the guys and everything were lovely and everything, it was a very Spanish team, and I didn't really click much with the bike, and it's hard to say why, but anyway, it didn't happen. I had a big crash in Valencia, which sort of steadied me up a bit. I sat out the year, and Ducati basically offered my job back to come back in 2006 on the 999, and I took that back, and like it was a year like I thought. You think back about it and go, yeah, probably was the wrong way, but in the end it probably did me some good somehow. I don't know how. But when I came back for the first ride back on the 909, which I haven't rode, I hopped on the bike and I felt straight at home again on the bike.
I'm wanting to get around, going to party, yes, I'm wanting to sing my song. Here we go. All night long, all night long, yeah. It's coming. Once you get started, you can't sit down. Oh, that's right. Let me say it. Come join this party, this merry-go-round, yeah. Oh, yeah. Everyone's dancing their troubles away, yeah, yeah, yeah. Come join this party, see how we play. All right now, shake it up now. Yeah, yeah. Let me tell you now. Jambalise Simoya, hey, jamba jamba, with the party I'll be going. Oh, jambalaya. Jambalise Simoya, eh, Jambo Jambo, whoa, 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 yeah.
Straight in. Yeah, come on. Troy. Troy's a left-hander. Foggy's a left-hander. I tried it with my left hand, it's not as good. But, oh, you a left-hander as well? Yeah. Magic, absolutely brilliant. And thank you, Plassy, for loaning the machine. Oh, jeepers creepers. Let's hear it for Glen Irwin, Carl Fogarty, and Troy Bayliss.
The second half might be a bit livelier.
We've got a few glasses of champagne and a few beers, so tongues might get a bit loose.
We're going to mix it up a bit this time. We'll get another story or two out of the lads, and then we'll open it up to the floor for some questions, and we'll also chuck a few quick fire questions again that Carl wants us to ask him, which is different. But anyway, we'll continue on. You touched briefly, Carl, Isle of Man TT. You're talking about Steve Hislop, how hard he could ride around there. He was probably on a superior bike with the speed of the Norton. On the last lap, your bike, when you did break the lap record, your bike was starting to fall apart. Do you want to elaborate?
Yeah, it was in a bit of a state. None of the clocks are working. They all fell out and gone. There's fluid from the brake chamber. The fork seals had gone. And then
Fucking hell, good.
And then coming into Ramsey, the exhaust blew, and like fucking so loud. And I remember going over the mountain trying to pull time back on Steve, and the noise of the bike was so loud. I'm just thinking, the faster I go on this thing, the quicker I can get off the thing. It's probably not the best thing to be thinking when the most dangerous circuit in the world, but. Yeah, I pushed really hard and took the lap record and stuff and finished second, but the bike, you shook it and there were bits falling off it after. There was just so much wrong with it. It was unbelievable. It was just a wreck, but the rear shock had gone, everything, the forks and seals, it was a mess, but it felt really good to ride. It felt great to ride, but yeah, it was an epic race, and I'm still here to tell the tale, to be honest, luckily, I guess.
Troy, were you much more privileged in your career to always have a
bike that held together?
ever any moments like this?
Pedaling that in the end, weren't you?
Any moments for you like this where your bike was falling apart or anything?
Well, I mean, far out. It's hard to remember. There's always like little things that happen, but not as bad as that. That sounded pretty horrendous.
We've had enough on the short circuit, never mind the Isle of Man TT. Right, a few things that Carl has asked me to ask. The hottest race you've ever been in?
The hottest race is the hottest place on earth is the 8-hour race in Japan. It's fucking horrendous, and if you're doing the 8-hour race for Honda, it's the most important thing. It's got the 8-hour race, MotoGP, World Superbike. It's the biggest thing. I didn't give a shit about the racing bikes. I didn't even want to be there. It'd be so hot. It's like being in a sauna, racing in a sauna with your leathers on for 8 hours. It's just horrendous. And
the fuel, like it stinks from the fuel cafe. Put your head down behind the screen and it just burns your eyes.
Yeah. Have you done the hour then? Have you?
No.
Oh, right. No, so for Ducati, what did 2 hours on a Ducati?
No, but I was a reserve rider.
Ducati's the best bike in the world.
I was a reserve rider, and like when you're a reserve rider, you've got to complete a certain amount of laps to prove that you can ride around the track and blah blah blah. So at the time, like I just remember riding it and I was going, holy shit, this is fucking horrible.
Yeah,
it's so hot and the fumes and everything out of the tank and whatever.
I was like,
no, I don't want to do that. So I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, it was so, and I was, even the night before, I was in the bar having a few beers with the mechanics thinking, I didn't give a shit about the race, and I regretted it the day after. I was like, we're leading the race as well. I had a really fast teammate called Aoki. He was one of the Aoki brothers. He got badly injured later on that year. I think he got paralysed, to be honest. But we were leading the race, and I was getting caught by a Yamaha guy. It might have been Harger, actually, Yamaha. And I was fucking struggling. I was absolutely dying out in the heat on the bike. And I wanted to still be in the lead as I would come into pits to change over to the second rider. And I remember I slid off at the hairpin. I was like, just fucking exhaustion. I was like, knackered. The guys picked the bike up. He was still running. I was like, this is the days. I got back on the bike. There's not a mark on it or wrong with it. I came into the pits, changed over to Aoki, and he went off. And then obviously with Honda, he got a real professional outfit and all sorts. And we got these little helpers, two little girls, little Japanese girls, little helpers who pull your leathers off and stuff. Sounds quite good, but no, that like at least furthest thing from my mind that was. So and then you got your leathers off and stuff, and there was like a cold plunge pool, like a size of that table there, like a round table, like the size of a 40-gallon drum, but ice cold water, and I just got everything off out of underpants, just jumped in this thing like, oh fuck, that's so good. It was like, it just brought my body temperature right back down, my face is boiling up and everything, and I thought, I need a piss. And I just, oh fuck, I'm not getting out of here. I just started pissing for about 15 minutes, just pissing. So I'd drunk that much water, there was so much fluid in there, I was just pissing. And then the Japanese coordinator says, Fogarty-san, time to get out, a Honda needs to get in. So I got out, and he jumped in, put his head under the water. I thought, oh fuck, yeah. Just had a bit of Lancastrian piss in there. And he said it felt a bit warmer as well. So that was my experience of the hottest race on earth. That was just horrendous. Hated it, to be honest. Yeah.
Wow. My experience with Suzuka was only as a reserve rider, and before I even came to the UK, so it would have been '97. I was riding a Suzuki, or actually it might have been even '96. So I rode in Australia. I rode 1 year superbike with Kawasaki, 1 year with Suzuki. So actually now I understand it was definitely Kawasaki. I went to Suzuka as a reserve rider, and the guys riding was Simon Crafer and Anthony Gobert. They were the main guys. I was a reserve rider, so I only got to do a few laps just to make sure I could ride a bike. I don't know, it was like doing your Lamb's approval license or whatever. But it was hot as hell.
It might be 96 because they finished second in 96.
Yeah, definitely it was 96.
We finished third. We finished third after I'd fallen off. I got back on.
Yeah, it was definitely 96 because that was the only time that I rode the Kawasaki. But we all got plenty of stories about Anthony. God rest his soul. Biggest. Definitely. Don't even know how to explain him, but my engineer Ernesto Marinelli spent a lot of time with him in the US, and I've heard and seen so many stories about Anthony and Ernesto, my engineer, who I love and was so good to me. But he used to tell me how he'd never seen somebody like anyone like with the natural talent, basically as much as him. But you know, when it comes down to it. Yeah, you can do a lot more than just natural talent. He's the most naturally talented. I said it on Instagram when he died, it really upset me, to be honest, it really did. I said he's the most naturally talented rider I've ever seen on a bike.
funny. The older you get,
the faster you was.
The easier things become. And like, because I know he was a hard ass. We all are.
Yeah. You were fucking animal, you.
We're all hard asses, but we never really got to race each other properly. I did a couple of wild cards, and actually it would have been...
I think I remember you racing in
97.
Australia in the wet, and you think you crashed.
I crashed.
I finished second.
I crashed and got back on, and I had 2 fifths.
Oh, right.
And
I was second and third.
Second and third.
I was disappointed with that.
Yeah. I was disappointed with 5th on the Aussie bike. Yeah.
It was a tougher competitor. I think probably Kaczynski. He would be the one. He was special talent. He was. Give him that. He was tough. And he was hard to beat. He was a very fast guy.
He had a clean motorhome though.
He had a very clean motorhome. He had an OCD of fucking cleanliness or whatever. And I used to park in motorhomes across from him, me and Whittam, and to save him a spot to watch Kaczynski, just his behaviour. He's unbelievable. I'd see him outside his motorhome washing a bunch of car keys under a tap for like an hour. Like, you weirdo. Unbelievable. And I always thought about when he was out,
he didn't like Americans.
Just that sneaking in his motorhome, having his shit in his toilet and not flushing chairs. But I never did that, but he was really weird with cleanliness and dirty. No one was allowed in his motorhome at all, nobody.
I'm going to move on to a different question. Obviously you met Homer Simpson 4 weeks ago in Scotland, which we're not going to go into. So talking about famous people that you do want to talk about who you've met, what's the most famous person you've met and took photos?
The Queen.
Sorry, should be who's the most famous, not what?
The Queen is the most famous probably person when she was alive on the planet, and I met her. She gave me a medal. MBE. It stands for motorcycling's best ever, apparently.
Did she say that words?
But my mates said no, it's not. It's massive Bell End car. Anyway, but no, that was. I met the Prime Minister as well. Went to 10 Downing Street in '97 when Tony Blair was in power, and he had all these. He was a bit of a prick, wasn't he? He had these events for like arts and music and art. As well, obviously sports people were one night, and I went to it, and with all the famous sportsmen who got invited. In fact, James Whiston got invited. I don't know how he got invited, but I don't think he was. I think he just thought, I'm fucking coming with you anyway. So he came, and we were there sort of in the queue to get in and stuff, and went in, and James is knocking his champagnes back and eating the canapes and stuff. We were a bit tipsy, and I was going my way a little bit. He was gone a little bit, and eventually Tony Blair got round to sort of meeting us, and some guy introduced us to us. He's Carl Fogarty, World Superbike champion, and James Whiston, and yes, I love motorbikes. I like motorbikes, and I often thought about going for a ride on a motorbike. And James Whiston just went, "I want to get yourself down to Benidorm on a bike." And I'm thinking, what the f*** he said Benidorm? Yeah, you and Sherry get on the bike and go down to Benidorm. What the f*** are you on about? And then James had been farting most at night, and I just fucking smelt this horrible fucking stench, and I looked at him, he's like looking like out of his face, and he dropped his guts in front of the Prime Minister, and he fucking stunk, and he could tell he smelt it. He went, "Right, nice to meet you," and he went and just fucked off straight away. And I said, "You dirty fucking bastard," with him. And he said, "Oh, I couldn't help it, I just need to fucking let it go." And so I don't think we'll get invited back to 10 Downing Street. That was a good story from meeting famous people. Yeah.
Troy, anyone stands out?
That's a good one.
Obviously you've raced against Valentino Rossi, so that stands out.
No, I mean, honestly, like doing the job that we do, you honestly get to meet a lot of people that are the hierarchy, I guess you could say. And it's really cool. It is cool. But like Carl says, basically, in the end, everyone shoots in the toilet. So you're the same. There's not much difference. But for me, I was always a big cycling person. Like that was my passion. Like I love the bicycle so much. And anyway, this one time we lived. I don't want to say it, but we lived down in Monaco. Blah blah blah. All poor people in Monaco lived on the back end of the street. But anyway, it was Formula 1 weekend, and Mark Webber gives me a call. Said, Troy, what are you doing? I said, hanging around. He said, you want to come for a ride? Yeah, of course, I ride fucking every day. He said, okay, cool. Met up with him, it was a Wednesday, and we ride down to Cap Ferrat and pull up to the big hotel there, can't remember the name of it. Out comes Lance Armstrong. Okay, that's pretty cool. I'm a cyclone fan. It's pretty good.
The drug cheat.
And anyway, he comes out and he was really blunt, actually, to tell you the truth. It was only myself, Mark Webber, Mark's mate, and one of Lance's mates, and basically said, righto, let's roll, motherfuckers, let's go. Off we go. And I knew that place like the back of my hand. I lived there for many years. And off we went, and riding along with him, and he was on a comeback from, he was like about 8 kilo overweight, if I remember correctly. And still, like, I'm riding with him and riding behind him, looking at him and go, yeah, I'm not gay, but he's looking pretty good. he's in pretty good shape. And so, honestly, like, he's a big name. And spending 3 or 4 hours with him, and then after no one else could like be with him. And luckily, like, he was a little bit overweight. Like, it was a.
Did you kick his ass?
No, I didn't kick his ass, but I rode with him for 4 hours, and you know, it's a name that's like right in there, and it was something that I'll never forget. It was just crazy. Yeah.
I remember meeting the only person that I've met that I was starstruck, and it's a massive Oasis fan. And I met Noel Gallagher at some Sky Sports Awards in '96 when it was the height of their fame and stuff. And he got introduced to me and he went, oh, fuck yeah, man, you're doing it for England, good on you. And I went, are you gigging tonight? And my wife's going, fuck. He's obviously there presenting awards or whatever. He's not, I just went, are you gigging tonight? She went, are you fucking gigging tonight? Yeah, the one thing, I said, I just fell apart, I didn't know what to say. He said, no mate, I'm just here giving awards out, which obviously it was. And I went, are you fucking gigging tonight?
It is cool through the sport, you know, the people you do get to meet. Obviously growing up in sort of the UK, it was kind of 7 o'clock Emmerdale, 7:30 Coronation Street, 8 o'clock bed, and you know, from racing, when I raced at the Ulster Grand Prix, Paddy the Vet, as I would know him, Dominic Blunt, was over watching, and as a guest in hospitality, Andy Sugden, Calvin Fletcher. Again, he races cars and has came to many British superbike events. So
Zedless is that?
Yeah, they beat you can tell, and the people I've met. I met Rita Ora before, and that was quite funny because we were flying to Macau, and obviously the way it works, all the guys all get on the same flight, and off we go to Hong Kong. And Hutchie was, we were all sitting in Wagamamas, and Hutchie's like, "Wow, that's Rita Ora. Go and ask her to get a photo with us." You know, like I'm like, "You're Ian Hutchison." So I had to go over and ask Rita Ora, which come over and got a photo with Hutchie. So it's cool, you meet different people, obviously the Rita Ora.
Did she say yeah? Did she say fuck?
No, she came over, to be fair. She's a bit like you, she didn't look too happy at being mithered, like, but she did come over. Angry bastard.
We went home.
What age were you, 62 when you come back?
No, honestly, we went home, and at the start, like for a few months, it was okay, and then by the time Phillip Island come back around in February, honestly, I did not even feel comfortable going into the box and seeing my old crew. Like, I just felt like I didn't belong there anymore. So it was horrible. So you carry on for a bit, and then it sort of gets worse. And I used to, luckily Ducati basically would get me over, and like I used to ride the test bike, and like, because it was only a few months later, like I was still training, and I was still like, I'd go there and I'd still be the fastest guy. And I was like, why am I here? But that was the plan. That was the whole reason why I wanted to go home. And that carried on for a couple of years. And then eventually I had a crash in Magello about 3 years later. It wasn't that bad, just knocked me around for a while. And sort of steadied me up a bit, but still I always was like, I'm still fast, I should be there, rah rah rah. Not fighting with Kim, but like myself trying to get over it. And then finally, another couple of years later, and then by this time I was like not fit at all. Giuliano, who actually Ollie rides for now, had a crash, and I just rang the Nesto straight away and said, do not, because we've been talking about it for ages and they've been talking me out of it. I said, do not put anyone on that bike. I'm coming there. That's it. This is at Phillip Island. And I went down there and I just basically needed to be beaten. And that's what happened. I went down there and basically got my ass kicked. I finished, I think, 6th or 7th. Had a crash.
Got his arse kicked at 45, finished 6th in the World Superbike race after retirement for 5 years.
Had one decent crash.
50. What was it 50 when you come back?
I think at that stage was 48 or something.
I think you deserve a round of applause. Top 6 48.
But at the same time, we also had myself and my friend. We had a team going with Ducatis, of course, in the Australian Superbike Championship. And it's a difficult one to say, but I'll tell you the truth. Basically, Ducati, the guys weren't doing very well, and they said, unless you're going to get on the bike, like we're going to not give you any support. Okay, jump on the bike. First time I hopped on it was at 12.99. We're at Wakefield Park, which is a shithole, and I'd never even been there. Jumped on it and cracked my pelvis in like very early on in the start of it, and it was only a couple of weeks to the first round at Phillip Island, and the doctor was like, "Yeah, that's not good. You don't want to be crashing on that." So I did it for a year and a half, and luckily I was at 50. I had one win in Darwin, which was great, but I was competitive, but it was too hard at 50, and crashed twice at Phillip Island. Once at turn 1, which is fast enough, and the other one, now they call it Stoner Turner, which is 50 gear flat out, and luckily I got away with that, and then I just went, And a lot of my friends are saying, Troy, you shouldn't be doing this. And then I finally went, yeah, maybe not. And I only did it just to try and get some support for our team. Otherwise, I wasn't really interested. But yeah, 50's enough. You don't want to be like trying to race bikes over 50. Don't do it.
I think winning national championship races at 50 is quite good. Carl, your career ended with injury. If hypothetical it didn't end with injury and you retired, say at the top, do you think you would have done something like Troy and jumped back in, or do you think you even would have retired?
It's hard to say really. If you're winning like Troy, I was so envious of Troy how he ended. He said, "I'm retiring this year." I went out with a title and won the last race as well. I think.
Yeah, it all sounds good. It all sounds great.
But then you're probably thinking, the year after, I could still maybe win, and it's difficult. I don't know. I mean, I always dreamed or envisioned myself announcing my retirement and then winning that last world title like he did, and then just going off into the sunset sort of thing. But no, it was taken away from me with the injuries I sustained, and that was it. Really, it was.
It wasn't really it, because success was still to follow some years later, but this time not involving two wheels and an engine. This time you were plucked into the middle of a jungle, so you had another victory in you. How describe, because I've heard you talk about it and I know emotionally it meant a lot to you. Just describe to everyone.
Well, it did, yeah. I mean,
what your thoughts were going in and how you won.
My thoughts going in, I didn't want to do it really. ITV really persuaded me to do it. They flew me down to London, assured me everything would be alright, and they'd come up to my house, have meetings up at my house and stuff, and Michael's going, I don't want you to do it because you'll come across the right twat. I just don't want you to do it. Fucking thanks for the support. And I got asked just after I retired from racing, really, because I was picking my household name through all the Sky TV coverage and me being world champion and whatnot, the press and stuff. And I got asked to do it in about 2002, 2003, and I said no. And then it came back in 2014. And I knew I said yes after long discussions, and I didn't tell Michaela. And she found out that I'd said yes to it, and she didn't speak to me for about 2 months. It was great. Anyway, I did it, and I went out and did the biggest TV show in the UK, isn't it, really, by far. And I thought, well, this is me, I'm going to do it. I love being outdoors, love the camping sort of aspect of it, being out and camping and sort of fishing, that kind of thing. I love that kind of mentality, the great outdoors, and it's like that, for me. I like wanting to be outside, sleeping on a hammock and campfire and all that kind of thing. But I thought I'd see if I could cope with the three things that I didn't like were people, You are alright. Being bored and being hungry, and those are 3 things that I went in to see if I could cope with, and I mean, I coped with them really, really well. But the first day I was in there, I just thought, what the f*** have I done? What am I doing? Who are these people? All from TV and whatnot, and I'm like a sportsman, and I'm like, oh fuck, what have I done? I've just got anxiety. I thought I was going to jump over the fence and try and get out of there. I was like, they're trying to call me
on an island? You're going to swim somewhere?
I don't know, I mean, I had gone a little bit, and then I was in this jungle jet with 4 others, or 5 others, and I got the phone call and said, and the guy from Corrie Street answered. He said, "Oh, Carl, you going out? Get your bag or something." And I'm like, "Why? Where am I going?" I don't know. You don't know. They don't tell you anything. You don't know what time it is or anything. I hadn't slept that night. There's flies everywhere and moths all over the place. They're all coming from what's she called? The big girl from Essex. I can't remember her name. Gemma Collins. They're all coming from her. I think all flies are around there. Like. I got chosen to do the first trial, the first bush tucker trial thing, and it was. He said, like, you're going to get out back of this van. You went through the jungle. It's all blacked out. Basically, you're going to get out. And Anton is going to be around the corner. You'd been the first trial. You'd been picked. Oh, like, why? What the fuck have I done? But the people hate me already. What have I done? You know. And you got to get and. I hadn't slept at all, man. I'm just in a daze, and the guys couldn't say anything to me. They said, "You're going to get in this pit, Carl. We're going to put a lot of snakes in, and more snakes, and more snakes." So I'm like, "Yeah, well, whatever, you know, whatever." Got down this pit, and they're putting snakes, and I'm thinking, "Am I supposed to be scared at some point now?" Or something like. Put more and more. Now you feeling calm? I'm fine. I'm all right. You know, I'm just fucking in a daze. You know, and I came out. I smashed it. I did bought a couple of stars for camp and that, and it came out and. Okay, on this thing. Try this one. I came out and you see Anton Deck, "Oh, well done, Carl." And I thought, I could feel something fucking moving in my shorts. I looked down and thought, "There's fucking snakes still in my shorts." It's like I've got a fucking hard on. And Anton Deck went, "Oh, pleased to see us." I went, "Fucking snake in my shorts, fucking snakes still in." So I get the girl, the snake handlers, to come over. And I said, "Make sure you get the right snake, girl." Pull this snake out, and fucking hell, I was like, fuck's sake. So I went back to the camp then, and I was full of beans and happy and stuff, and that brought the ice to me. I met the other camp mates, and I knew Jimmy from the football, and Mel Sachs, I maybe met her before, so I was away then, and I just threw myself into it, and I just learned a lot about myself, to be honest, being in there. I was much more of a team player and a people person than I thought I was. I was keeping the campfire going, always boiling the water, collecting all the logs, even cooking the rice and beans and stuff after a few days. Once I learned how to do it, just boil the rice in a pan of water, that was it. 20 minutes. Because if whoever did the rice and beans got to serve it, so I was like, big fucking scoop for me. I thought they'd be catching on it on TV, but they never did actually. I got away with that one. But yeah, to go the whole way, I thought I'd be the first one out, I really did. And just to go the whole way, and be voted in every night, and to go right to the final, and after doing all these crazy trials and tasks and whatnot, eating bloody camels fucking peanuts and sheep's bollocks, cockroaches, mealworms, okay, all sorts of shit. Deer's blood, that was the worst thing. That deer's blood, oh, fucking awful that was, horrible. To go all the way, to get to the final, then sort of announced me the winner, King of the Jungle. Like, fucking hell, unbelievable. All the public support in the UK was just mental. So
how did that feel, Carl?
I was just so emotional. I just filled up, was crying again, fucking had the gun up, and dropped to my knees on the floor. We're like, "Oh, it's the greatest thing that's ever happened to me." I'm like, fucking, I was just gone, you know. It was just an amazing feeling. I mean, it took a lot of persuading for me to go in, and Michaela's going, you know, she's, "I'm so sorry. I just don't even recognise the fucking person that I saw in there. You never like that when you're at home. What's up with you?" But yeah, so it was just an incredible feeling to win that. It really was special. Yeah. Woo!
The garage on Saturday to see my brother, and he hugged me, and I thought I was hallucinating. And we had another.
When he hugged you, stuck something on your back going, "Fucking prick."
It was funny, we had another conversation in the paddock, and I seen people gathering around taking photos of us talking, but that's just rivalry. I think it would be easy to say shaky, because when he was my first teammate in superbike, and I learned a lot of him. What a ruthless guy in all areas. You know, he was so shrewd, and I learned to be shrewd in every aspect like him. But in all honesty, I got to be my younger brother Andrew's teammate in 2018 in Superbike when he made his debut, and then so I got him into that ride when Shaky got injured. So a bit like Carl getting injured, you got your chance. That was Andrew's chance in Superbike. He left World Supersport, and again in 2020, I had an absolute shit 2019 season. Depression, everything. It was terrible, and Andrew got me into Honda to be his teammate, and that was the most special time ever because we went 1-2 in the first 2 British Superbike races of the year, and you know, talking about the emotion when you win titles and stuff, and to come into Park Ferme and to have your dad there who, like you guys, you know, we come from a normal family. Like mum works in the car rental desk in the airport, and you try raising 4 sons, 3 of which went to be 2 professional superbike riders, 1 world motocross rider, and to see him, like my dad crying and coming in, so that was special. So for that, for sure, Andrew is like, I love my brother to bits. He's my best mate, and to share riding for a factory like Honda, the corporate side of it, and to get the success, and with a teammate that you really like, you're very open. So the bike developed because I didn't lie about what was good because I wanted him to win as well. That was a super special moment, and I hope we can be teammates again because his arm practically fell off last year. He had a broken that bone up the top. It was out of the skin at the elbow and out of the skin at the shoulder at Knockhill. It was like the Marc Marquez injury. And at the weekend he was 4th fastest again in the Superbike test, so he's back on.
That's cool. Yeah. Well, I hope you can have many more battles like that. That's really cool. That's a great story, huh? Yeah, awesome. Honestly, when we're at home, I love riding with Ollie. We give each other shit. Whether we're on the farm, like riding around together, or I haven't done it a lot lately, but we go to a local car track and we like ride little Ninja 400s. But now I seem to be always just like looking after his shit and helping someone else because I'm not fast enough to keep up with him.
Like I said, does he kick your ass now on the dirt bike?
Yeah. It's like, you always want your younger to be good and be faster. And no, you want them to be better than you, 100%. And then finally, when it happens, I was good enough up until a couple of years ago. But anyway, long story short, now he's just a little bit quicker than me everywhere we go on the motocross bike. And then he's like, "Come on, old boy, let's go. Let's go. We're going for a run. We're doing this. We're doing that." And I'm like, it's starting to piss me off a bit now. Why don't you just like do a little bit more maintenance on your bike, you little prick? you do everything for your kids. That's normal, no matter what it is. Oh my God.
What's Valentino Rossi like?
Right, prick. He's unfollowed me on Twitter because I said some shit about him. I had a bit of a go at him when he had the Marquez incident when he booted him off, and I went a bit too far. I said, "He's ruined everything now. He's like, his career's over." He's like, "All right, you know, why have you said that, Carl? You did." No, he's a good guy. He is Mr. Motorcycle racing. He's a proper legend, isn't he?
The most famous person I had actually met, it wasn't from Emmerdale, it was Carl Fogarty, until I met Troy Bayliss tonight. So. And I have to say, I've got to know Carl quite well the past few months. He's a gentleman. Like he doesn't like the like Troy says, they're superstars, but they're normal people. We've had some great times lately. It's been good crack. Troy, you've been a gentleman. It's an honour to meet you. I grew up watching the two of you.
And you, mate.
It's a pleasure to share the stage with you. Just a big round of applause to Ducati Manchester Group and Chris, who's here, for putting this on. The Nam Ploy Thai for the food, the bar staff, the sexy blonde one. But once again, a round of applause for Troy and Carl, and we're going to have some auction items. The money goes from the auction.
Chris's pocket.
And NSPCC, so please give generously. There's some really cool items. They're all hand signed by all three of us, and safe home tonight as well.
Cheers, guys.